Om Shanti. In the Murli today, Baba is, yesterday Baba said that the Murli is the foundation of Brahman life. And in the Murli today, Baba is explaining every possible aspect of Gyan. Baba says, only you know the incorporeal world. And Baba describes that beautifully for us. Baba also gives a very live and beautiful description of the subtle world to us in the Murli. And Baba also explains how the whole recording is there in every soul. It is so miraculous that such a tiny point of light is full of the recording of 84 births. And then Baba also says that we souls, the whole pattern about how sinful and charitable souls, we all go back home together. So it's not one after the other. Whether a soul is sinful or charitable, Papatma or Punyatma, when we go back together. So all of us will go back home together. But then those who are charitable, Punyatma, they will come back soon and they will rule in that land of happiness, whereas the other souls will wait in the land of peace until it is the land of sorrow again, and then they will come. So this whole drama, and then Baba tells this very beautiful secret that when we come from the soul world, so Baba describes the soul world as silence world, and then the subtle region as movie, and then this corporeal world as talkie. And Baba says that when we come from silence, we don't come via movie, we come directly into talkie. So there is no coming through the subtle region. But when we have to go back, we have to move from the talkie to the movie and then into the silence. And Baba describes the movie world, the subtle region, the region of angels, that it is not a world. It is just a dimension. And in that dimension, there is no sound, but there is communication through thoughts. And Baba says that now we have to move to the subtle region. So since we have to move to movie and from talkie, so we have to talk less now. So it's beautiful that Baba says that you have to go to that world where there is communication, there is exchange of energy, there is exchange of thoughts, there is exchange of feelings, but there is no need for sound. So we the souls here need to train ourselves into communication without sound. And it is interesting that Baba says that you talk less because you have to move to that world of movie. And then Baba also says that deities speak very less. So the royalty speaks very less. So royal souls, they speak very less. So we need to train ourselves because we have to go to that movie world and then we have to come back and be part of the royalty. So talking less is what Baba recommends today. And the blessing is also very closely connected, because in the blessing also Baba talks about the powers that we achieve by following Srimad. And Baba says that one of those powers is you will be able to give directions to the other one without speaking a word. So you will be able to inspire, influence, make someone do something with the power of your thought. And in the world also, there is a lot of research that says that even when we speak, even when we use the faculty of speech, 90% of our communication is non-verbal. Yes, and have you seen that if there is a person who is saying something and intending something else, then you are able to figure that out very fast, because you communicate not only through your voice. And when what you communicate through your voice is not in consonance with what you are communicating with your whole being, then the other person will figure out. So Baba says that we have proof in the world also, and Baba is also giving us the knowledge that communication doesn't require sound. And Baba says that we have to shift slowly, gradually to that way of communicating. So practice from today onwards talking less and communicating through your being, through your whole personality, through your vibration, through your intention, what you wish to communicate to the other soul. And yesterday also in the slogan, Baba talked about the power of vibrations. So all this knowledge that Baba is giving us is about tapping into our subtle powers. So we have the gross powers of seeing, listening, talking, but we, the soul has a man, buddhi and sanskar, and the soul has powers which are more powerful and very different from the physical capacities of the body. And Baba says we need to tap into that. And Baba says something very interesting today. Baba says, this is the world of talkie and that is the movie. There you talk to God. So in the movie world, you talk to God. There is the form of white light, but no sound. They understand one another through movie language. So you remember a time when, we nowadays also, we use this word movie for a drama, but it's a talkie actually. And you remember those old cinema halls were named talkies. So there was this, this shift from movie to talkie. So earlier, those old Charlie Chaplin movies, they didn't have sound. It was a movie. And then Baba says, and it's interesting how when you watch those movies were very clear in that communication. It's not like they didn't communicate. They communicated very well. So Baba says, that subtle region is like that movie. And there you talk to God. And Baba says there is form of white light, and we all have this body of light which we can change into. And in one Avyakt Murli, Baba has given a very beautiful description of how he has gifted us an angelic sparkling dress made of white light. And just like, somebody, as children, we were told, go change your dress, we will go for a walk or we'll go to the market. And our parents would say, go change your dress. So Baba also says, go change your dress, I'll take you to the subtle region. So Baba says, I've given you this sparkling dress made of white light, and as soon as you change into it, you shift your awareness from this gross body made of 5 elements and shift into that dress made of sparkling white light. Then you can move to that subtle region and you can talk to God. And it is absolutely silent there. There is no sound. And the only sound is that of that sweet, loving, knowledgeful exchange with Baba through the thoughts. So Baba says you can do this very often as you want to. Baba says they understand one another through movie language. You now have to go into silence via movie. So Baba says, before we go to the incorporeal silent world, we have to move to the movie world. This is why Baba says from a Brahmin, you have to transition into a Farishta, into an angel, and only then can we go back home. So what percentage of Farishta have we become? So we all need to ask ourselves, so have we moved from gross to subtle? And Baba has left his world of silence. He has come into the world of sound. He speaks the language we understand, and he wants us to move to that world where there is the language which he speaks, the language of silence, the language of love, the language of pure feelings. And Baba says, you just move your awareness to that world and you will be able to talk to me. Yes, so this is the beautiful description Baba gives today. And Baba also talks about the incorporeal region of light, the soul world. I will read that out also. Baba says, the intellects of you children have the understanding of what the incorporeal world is. And you see that in Hindi, Baba is called Buddhivano ki Buddhi, the intellect of the intelligent. And Baba fills our intellect with the understanding of the 3 worlds and the 3 aspects of time. So there is a whole dimension which is not physically accessible, and the incorporeal world is one part of that. And Baba says, I have filled you with the understanding of what the incorporeal world is like. Has your intellect been filled with that? Yes, so we all have understood, figured out, experienced the soul world, that which cannot be seen, cannot be accessed physically. And it is a miracle that Baba has done that to us. And Baba says, the incorporeal world you show in the pictures should be a big picture with tiny souls sparkling like stars. So that incorporeal world is a big expansive world of golden red light, and in that world, just like in the blue sky, you have sparkling stars, which are the stars of light. In the incorporeal world, we have souls who sparkle like stars in that world. And Baba says, just as you earlier used to make garlands of fireflies. So, these fireflies which shine in the dark. So you used to make them come together and sit together. You should also make the incorporeal world like that. So Baba is directing children to create an image of the incorporeal world based on the knowledge that Baba is giving. And these days we have so many videos and pictures and 3D work and so much stuff that makes it very, very easy for the buddhi to capture what the incorporeal world is like. And this is why Baba always says, it is very, very easy for souls who come later to understand knowledge. Yes, so we are very fortunate that we have so much paraphernalia which helps our intellect to grasp that which is beyond the purview of physical sense. So this is something, and then Baba in the question asks us, on what basis is the golden aged kingdom established? So you know that golden age is a kingdom. And when we say kingdom, it means that not everybody is equal there. So there is a king, there is a queen, there are the family of the king, and then there are subjects, and in amongst the subjects also there are different status that they enjoy. So Baba says it's a whole kingdom. And what is the basis of that establishment? So who decides, or what factors decide what position you will come at in the kingdom? So Baba in the Murli says, on the basis of how you study at the confluence age. Now, the important thing that we need to understand here is this word study. So, Baba's study is the study of 4 subjects. So, when we hear this statement, the basis of coming in the kingdom is the study of the confluence age. We shouldn't forget that study doesn't only mean Gyan. So there are 4 subjects in this study: Gyan, Yog, Dharana and Seva. So depending on how much you imbibe the truth, depending on how much you remember Baba and burn your sins, depending on how much effort you put in to inculcate divine virtues. The first on the foundation virtue of which is purity, and depending on how much you serve. And Baba today in the Murli very clearly says that this study is not going to go on forever. It's a very limited period study. So it's important that you learn and teach, you serve, or become an instrument in this whole task of seva. And Baba says that to the extent you imbibe the truth, understand the truth, So we live in a world of beliefs which are very different from the truth. So there is this knowledge that you are a soul, you are not a body, that you are not the child of a normal, ordinary human, but you are the child of God. But then, to what extent do I really put in the effort to stay in soul consciousness? And supreme soul consciousness is about Gyan. And then there is Yoga. So, how much do I take out my time and thought from mundane activities and invest it in Baba's remembrance and make an effort to burn away my sins? That's the subject of yoga. And then there is dharana. So as I operate through the day, how much do I conduct myself based on divine virtues pitted against devilish traits? So you know that when we were growing up, we did not know the difference between divinity and devilishness. So when we watched a mythological serial, then the devil, the asur, the rakshas, he did the same activities as the deity. He only looked worse. So, they were different in their look, but they did the same things as the deities. So the deities also got angry, abused, waged wars, or did, achieve their aim through nefarious means. So they did all of that. The only difference was that the deities were fair in color and their skin was better, and then their hair was nicely done, and the devils, they looked different from the deities. But now Baba has told us that being a deity or a devil is not about this, it's about divine virtues. So when we are in action, pure, peaceful, loveful, powerful, knowledgeful, that is when we will be called a deity. So Baba says, pay attention to the inculcation of divine virtues and then pay attention to seva. Because if you are becoming an instrument for bringing a soul closer to his spiritual qualities and to Baba, then you will become a master in Satyug. So Baba says this is the basis of how a kingdom is established in Satyug. And it is interesting how so many souls come to Baba. Yes, so the family is big and growing every day, and there are so many souls who come to Baba. But still, when we talk about the number of kings and princes that there will be in the golden age and silver age put together, it is only 16,108. Why? Because everybody comes to Baba, but they don't belong to Baba. And this is what Baba says today. Baba says, those who study well and who have the omens of Jupiter over them will go into the Sun dynasty. So there are two things Baba says. First, those who study well, which is pay attention to these four subjects. And the second thing that Baba is saying is those who have omens of Jupiter over them. And later in the Murli, Baba describes how do you have omens of Jupiter over you? By belonging to Baba. So when a soul belongs to Baba, then there is Brahaspati ki dasha on the soul. And Baba says, by paying attention to study and by belonging to Baba, we will go to the Sun dynasty. Now, one thing I want to also point out here is, Baba says, I am your father, teacher, and Satguru. Yes? And it is interesting why Baba, Baba could just come and say, I am God. Yes? But Baba uses a very Lokik description of who he is. And Baba says, I am your father, teacher, and Satguru. And why Baba uses these three words to describe our relationship with him is because in the world, we only have a relationship of surrender to these three authorities. So, since childhood, a soul is trained to surrender to the Father, Teacher, and Satguru. And Baba says, you are a soul, and I am your Father, Teacher, and Satguru of the soul. So you must understand, just like you have been taught to surrender to your Father, Teacher, and Satguru of the body, so that you are taken care of according to the body. Baba says, if you, the soul, need to be taken care of, then you have to surrender completely. And those who surrender to Baba in this way, they are the ones who are called to have omens of Jupiter on them, and they are the ones who go to the Sun dynasty. And later, Baba uses a very funny expression. We'll see that Baba says, those who don't study and who don't do service have the omens of Buddha over them, and they are like Buddhus. So, in the Murli, Baba says, there are three kinds of children. One, who totally surrender, who do as Baba says. They are the ones who have omens of Jupiter or Brihaspati ki dasha. Then there is the other category who have Shukra ki dasha. They only say thank you Baba, and do nothing. Okay. So, and the third category is Buddhus, totally Buddhus. They don't study, they are not even thankful for the study, nor do they do service, and then they end up being a praja. So Baba says these three categories, they become part of the subjects. Elevated subjects as well as maids and servants are all created on the basis of how you study at present. Okay, so Baba says, you get as you sow, so the way you are studying will determine what you become tomorrow. And then in the Murli, Baba reminds us that, in 84 births, you got 84 physical fathers. Yes? And think about how much you love your physical father. Yes, you love your physical father, right? And do you know, he is one among the 84 and the worst one perhaps. Because it's the 84th. Now, just imagine if somebody were to line up all your 84 fathers for you. Would you love your current father? Is a big question, because you had your Satyugi physical father also, and here you are in so much love with your Kaliyugi one, the last birth one. And then Baba says, I am your only spiritual father. I am not one among the 84. I am the only one, the only parent that the soul has. And Baba says, just realize who I am and think about whether you really operate with Baba with that recognition. So Baba gives this piece of knowledge also today. And then The blessing is very interesting, so I would like to explain the blessing a little. So the blessing is, may you become worthy of being worshipped and remembered by using all your powers, considering it to be your duty and not thinking of them as miracles. Yes, so Baba gives us many powers. Yes, and powers are the fruit of Shrimat. So when you follow Shrimat, you become powerful. But Baba says, you have been given powers to fulfill your duty, not to use them as miracles. So you know that if the government wants you to carry out a task, they give you certain powers. Yes, powers of the office. And you are supposed to only use those powers in the carrying out of your duties. You are not supposed to abuse those powers. And Baba says, I also give you many powers. And you are supposed to use their powers in carrying out your duties that Baba has given you. And what are the duties that Baba has given us? Baba has given us the duty of transforming the world. So in this task of world transformation, in Seva, we have to use these powers, not as miracles. Now, before I read the blessing line by line and explain, I will relate to you one example of what this means. You see, there was this brother and he was in Gyan. And when he came into Gyan, before that, he was a very fearful person. So, he used to get very scared at very little things. And then when he came into Gyan, he became very courageous. Okay, so Baba gave him the power to face, and Baba has given many of us the power to face, right? So we understand that earlier we didn't have the power to face, but now we do. And then, there was this one person who said that I am going through a condition where I feel there are ghosts in my house. So, this brother, he asked Santosh Bhai whether I should go and use my powers to drive ghosts out of his house. So he said, now I am God's child, so I can do that. So then he was given the answer by Baba that Baba has not given you the task to drive ghosts out of people's houses. Did Baba ever tell you in the Murli that you go take a jhadu and go everywhere and drive ghosts out of people's houses? That's not the duty Baba has given us. Baba has given us the duty to drive ghosts out of people's souls. Yes, so you don't have to go there and perform a puja or pseudo puja or whatever, and do that. That's not the task that Baba has given you. Baba has told you to remind the soul that you are a powerful soul, that you, the soul, are more powerful than anyone or anything around you. And that's the task we have to perform. And if I have the power to face, then there will be many challenges that come in carrying out this task. So we have to use our power to face there, not where he wanted to use it. And you see that we have this tendency to use our powers as miracles and impress people. So Baba says that's not what your power is for. Or let me give you another example. So you see, Baba gives us many powers. For example, Baba gives you the power to speak with clarity. Yes, earlier we spoke with no clarity, with confusion. And now Baba gives you the power to speak with clarity. So you don't have to use this power to impress someone or earn some money just like that. You have to use this power for world seva. Yes, and I remember that there was this one person who told me that you speak well, so why don't you write a blog? So, you write a blog for my company and then I'll pay you. So I said, I will write a blog and it's a very good idea, but not for your company, but for my company. So that's a very good idea, because yes, if Baba has given us the knowledge and the clarity to express spiritual knowledge in words, then why not use it? But use it for the task that Baba has given you. And then let's talk about another power, the power to discern and decide. So earlier when we the souls were clouded with body consciousness, we could not discern well, decide well. But many of you must be experiencing that as we follow Srimad, our discernment and decision ability become very good. And then what is it that we need to use this discernment and decision ability for? For seva. Okay, so this is what Baba means. And let me read out the blessing. Baba says, do not use the powers you gain by having remembrance as miracles, for it is your duty to use them. Those people have miracles of occult powers, but you have Srimad. You definitely develop powers by following Srimad. And this is how your thoughts become practical. And the biggest power that we get is whatever you think materializes. But what you think, after you realize whatever you think materializes, determines how knowledgeful you are. Okay? So what you think will become practical is a power you get from remembrance. You can inspire someone to carry out a task with your thoughts. This is another power. But it is only when you do not mix the dictates of your own mind with Srimad that you will become worthy of being worshipped and remembered. Now Baba says, if you use the powers that Baba is giving you for world seva, then you will gain being worship worthy and being remembered for the whole cycle. Yes, you will be remembered as deities. But if you take power from Baba and use it for your selfish benefits, then you will not be remembered and worshipped for half the cycle. You will only eat the fruit of those powers in a little time. So you get the power, but where you invest it is a sign of how knowledgeful you are. Okay? Om Shanti.